I think you have to win the call before you're ever on it. Probably 70 to 80% of the cold call should be able to be replicated.
So if we zoom all the way out, going back to Bryce before tech sales, what were you most scared about? 11 months ago, Bryce was a soccer coach, barely making ends meet before we got him into a fully remote tech sales role where now he's leading a global team with enough time to be there for his wife and his kids. This is a story of how Bryce promoted from SDR to SDR leader in just 11 months after breaking into tech sales through our sword program. Enjoy. This is the first episode I've done like this where I've brought a client back after helping you get a job. And how long ago was that? When did you even get your SDR job?
So I started at Mitra Tech middle of December. Yeah, you helped me get a job in 20 days, which was big time. So yeah, I think we were working together, I guess in October, November of last year.
Wow, and your hair has gotten more luscious since then. So it's good to see you, man. You age well. You look good.
That's
That's
funny.
crazy. Okay. So let's go back to the genesis then of you getting into tech sales, just so people have context of where you even came from. What were you doing before tech and why did you want to get in?
Totally. So, life before Mitra Tech, before tech sales, was a college soccer coach. Felt very called to it. I saw it as a platform to impact people, and it was that. So I loved it. But yeah, married. So I think we're been married for 8 years now, and we've got a growing family. So I've got a 3-year-old, a 2-year-old, and then my wife is due any day with our
Let's
third daughter.
go.
So yeah,
Thanks for squeezing
honestly,
this in, by the way. If she calls and she's like, "Hey, it's time to go," you can leave. That's fine.
yeah, gotta shut the laptop and bounce. But yeah, honestly, I wanted to provide for my family in a different way, and I wanted to be present for my family. So coaching was a passion. Um, but yeah, over like the last 2 or 3 years, consuming a lot of like sales content, and so I believed with the proper mentality I could learn, and so yeah, I needed a bridge to kind of get in, and so. I remember scrolling through Instagram, coming across you and yeah, everything that you're about, and I was like, it's just a no-brainer, and that just makes sense. And it was a tight timeline to when I wanted to kind of jump ship. So yeah, honestly, it was perfect timing, and kind of ever since then, everything has just continued to really work out positively. Praise God. So yeah.
Yeah, man. When his favor is on it, it's amazing where he takes us. So
Mm.
at the time, you were an amazing soccer coach. I remember your resume. You had the accolades and stuff. But young family. You had two at the time. One was a few months old. So I imagine the stress of wanting to provide as father and husband was weighing on you. So we get you into tech sales. Um, I guess give us the expectation versus reality. If you can rewind back to when you first started as an SDR, expectation versus reality. Were you scared? Were you nervous? Like, what did you expect going in and what actually happened? Give me the good, bad, and ugly, by the way.
Yeah. Yeah, no, honestly, had no idea what to expect. I think when I came across your stuff on Instagram was the first I learned about tech sales. And then, yeah, you had really good resources, so I was able to kind of educate myself. And then, yeah, I mean, your big phrase was do the job to get the job. And so, yeah, it's basically what are you doing? Prospecting, finding the right people, and then, yeah, reaching out. And so yeah, I actually the job that I took wasn't like a BDR role. It was strictly like inbound work. But like the team that I found was again, I think a godsend. Like my manager, incredible. She was willing to again kind of hold hands with me and kind of learn something new. And then I joined a team of kind of older 20 somethings, the majority of. So some of them had been doing other things before, and now we're doing this. And so yeah, I felt like they were very hungry, and so there was a lot of sharpening going on. And so, yeah, honestly, yeah, like the day to day, right? It's more or less like 100 dials is the expectation. At the beginning there wasn't a ton of prospecting. We were more being kind of fed lists and hot leads and all of that stuff. And then, yeah, there was like a daily stand up, like a team call every day. But
Mm.
being a coach, I love that camaraderie piece. And so I look forward to that team call. And honestly, I think the rest of the team did as well. But yeah, that was like to start. And then it was like April or May. The SDR team basically went from 20 SDRs to 65 SDRs.
Oh
And
my
so,
goodness.
yeah, a big
That means
reshuffle.
you guys did a really good job because the leadership saw, hey, this investment seems to be paying off. Let's 3x it.
Yeah, right. Pour gasoline on the fire in a positive sense. And so, yeah, a lot of contractors from the Philippines. And so, Nick, he's our global head of business. Yeah, wanted to go big. So I appreciate that mentality. And so, yeah, I transitioned to go under a different manager. It was an opportunity to be more of like an outbound BDR and really learned how to prospect. And then, yeah, fast forward from there was, yeah, I think a month ago, transitioned into the SDR manager role, and honestly loving
Ooh,
it.
congrats, dude. Okay, hold on. Before we get there, because that's a whole nother segment to
Yeah,
this combo.
let's go.
Most of our listeners are people that are trying to break into tech sales, right? So
Totally.
what advice would you give them if you were to think back to when you first started as an SDR? What advice like do you have? Whether it's, don't do this, that kind of stuff. Is there anything that comes to mind? Maybe this is your SDR manager heart that's going to speak for a minute.
Totally. Yeah, so when I'm talking to the SDRs that are on my team, I basically talk about it in two buckets. I think one is objective and the other is subjective. I
Mm,
think what you have to like make undeniable is the subjective. So the attitude, the effort, the communication, the yeah, attention to detail, all of those things. And you don't have to be good to do those things well. But then the other is the objective. It is the numbers, right? So aside from obviously like call volume and booked meetings, it's are you reaching the right people and are you connecting to proper pain points, all of those things. So I think if you do the first column subjective and then you're teachable, coachable, the objective things, it's like sweet, like you're in the right place and we know that you're going to grow. So for me, I think that's what it's about, being really good at
mm,
both of those.
it's good advice. And for you to promote to SDR manager in just 10 months means you've been doing something right. And you're a humble guy, so we won't get your head too big. But if you were to share, like, what are some of the key things that have led to your success to be promoted so quickly?
For sure. Yeah, so I think my experience, like prior to being an SDR, I was a coach, I was a leader. Prior to that, I was in sports, collegiately. And so my background had always been more or less kind of leadership.
Mhm.
And so, yeah, when I came in, I knew nothing. And so I took the humble approach of basically, I know nothing, but I'm going to be a workhorse and be super coachable. And so I think my manager felt that. And I know my team felt like that energy. What they could expect from me was just like that positivity. But I was also the one asking some pretty deep, questions. Like I want to get to know you. And so I'm really big in like trust, respect, reliability. And so I think, that's what my team saw in me, what my manager saw in me,
Mm.
was, and Nick, he basically said like, yeah, you could be an account executive, but he's like, I think you're 5 times more valuable in leadership. And I would agree. Honestly, I think, if given the opportunity, I could be a great account executive. But I think like naturally, like that leadership, uh, position. I just love like part of me was a little bit I don't know what the right word is. It didn't have the opportunity to like really be fulfilled, and now to
Yeah.
be an SDR manager again, it's like man, that camaraderie piece was huge.
Dude, I'm an SDR leader at heart too. So you're speaking my language. Like I totally understand what you mean. I remember as I hit kind of a 9-month mark as an SDR, my leadership started talking about what was next for me. and they were kind of preparing me for the AE role, but one of our managers had left the team unexpectedly. So they were like, "Hey, we need to hire a new manager. Jack, can you just kind of like hold down the fort just for like 2 weeks?" And that 2 weeks turned into 2 months. And I got to kind of be a pseudo SDR leader. That's when I fell in love with it. And I'm like, wait, I could do AE, right? You can make money, it's fun, whatever, but this is what I want to bleed with a team every day. And it just hits that competitive, like that sports, like it's all of that you're talking about.
Dude, I love that phrase. Yeah. I always said like I love to be in the trenches.
Mm.
But yeah, bleed with the team. 100%. Oh yeah. Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, man. That's crazy. Wow. Okay. So your life over the past year has been a positive whirlwind. Is that fair to say?
Dude, 100%. Yeah, I mean, predictability, which is great, right? Being a coach, and having conversations after practice and all of that. But now to be working from home, and my wife loved it. Like, 3 weeks after, she was just like, couldn't believe it. The fact that I
Yeah.
was, home and, yeah, even now, I get off at around 4:15, and I just go straight downstairs to pick up my daughters from daycare with my mom.
Wow.
And my highlight of the day is to go and take them for like a walk or adventure, to the
Wow.
park, whatever. And yeah, typically right around that time is when practice would be. So definitely a different lifestyle because now my life looks different with kids and raising them. But
Mhm.
yeah, I don't have a drive or commute. I can just go downstairs. Yeah, anytime, honestly, which is incredible.
Yeah, my dad heart is smiling because I've been living remote, I don't know, for 5 years now, and there's nothing like it. So I'm curious to hear, have you seen a change in your kids at all with you being around more? Does that make sense? That question?
Yeah, no, 100%. I think it comes to like excitement. I think, yeah, like they love mom. Mom is without question the number one. But having been around, way more, and obviously as they're getting older, just that level of excitement and kind of that energy, like, man, they can't wait to go for adventure, and that's kind of more of a dad thing than mom thing.
Mhm.
So I have seen that, positively affected.
So cool. Very cool. Quick interruption, y'all. If you need help breaking into tech sales, linked below is an invite to our Breaking into Tech Sales community. In there, you're going to find resume help, LinkedIn help, where to find good jobs to apply to, how to interview, literally everything you could need to go land a great job in tech sales completely free. Go get signed up. Back to the episode. So, if we zoom all the way out, going back to Bryce before tech sales, what were you most scared about getting into this industry?
Hmm. Wow, that's a good question.
Scared, nervous,
Uh,
anxious, unsure. I'll give you some other words
yeah.
because maybe you weren't scared, but
Yeah, no, I think that's really good. To be honest, I was like, geez, like what would be this life of cold calling and being a little bit anxious about picking up that phone and coming across different titles, whether they're directors or C-level or whatever. Never done that before, so definitely you could say scared, definitely nervous. Was unsure as to what that would look like. And then, yeah, a little bit curious about like the predictability of it, right? So I think the great thing about sales, tech sales, and what I have is, a base salary and then a commission, and was just curious to see like how predictable it would be to hit that commission check versus coming up empty-handed.
mhm,
And so I think that was a huge testament to tech sales. Is it's a good setup. You're not there with nothing.
mhm.
So a little bit uncertain, but I found really good things so far.
I think those are probably the most two common uncertainties for people that are looking at tech is the cold calling and the commission. So I know I
Yeah.
felt those transitioning into tech. In fact, I almost didn't do it because it involved commission. I was like, no, I'd rather just have like a consistent every 2 weeks paycheck that I know exactly what it's going to be. What do you? How would you coach a new hire through the cold call anxiety right now?
That's great. for me, I'm huge in preparation, huge. So I think you have to win the call before you're ever on it. So yeah, it's kind of like how good of prospecting notes are we creating, and how are we truly getting to know the other person before we're on the phone with them. So I think that's important. Aside from that is I was big in watching film as a coach, and now we get the ability to listen back to calls. So doing that on a regular basis, and then yeah, just figuring out like the positive and also the constructive. And then this is my opinion, but I believe about probably 70 to 80% of the cold call should be able to be replicated. It's
Mm.
not just this here, okay, I have no idea where this call is going to go. No,
Yeah.
you're the one that's calling, you're the one that's leading it. So yeah, make sure you're asking the right questions in the right moments, bringing the right tonality, the right curiosity. So that's what I've learned so far, at least.
I I'm just kind of stunned right now. I think I underestimated how valuable it is to have a trained soccer coach lead a tech sales team. For real, man. Like I'm kind of more of like a natural leader, but I've never been a formal coach prior to this job. But you have like formal coaching training and you're getting to just move stuff in that contextualizes for tech sales and it's incredible. It's amazing.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, honestly, I feel like I hit yeah, gold a little bit, honestly. Like
Yeah.
obviously, we want to keep growing and keep making more money and all of that. But it's like, man, genuinely what a blessing it has been. And
Mhm.
I'll tell you, there have been other coaches that have reached out to me to say, "Hey, I saw, you got into tech sales, what is that about?" And yeah, I think almost all the coaches I know get into it in order to make an impact.
Yeah.
And so you are able to impact, but then you're not able to make money. And
Mhm.
so it's kind of like a thankless job anymore. And so, yeah, I was having a conversation yesterday with my manager, who is an incredible SDR manager, but like she's talking about like some SDRs that were on her team that because they did well, they were able to buy like a legit roof on their house, able to buy a car. The car was now called Tech, like life-changing things. And so I had always thought about transformation as like an internal thing, and obviously it is. But like how can we impact, the whole lifestyle? And I think that's what
Yeah.
this vehicle allows you to do. So
Yeah, and it's so cool. One of my favorite parts of being a manager and, me being a young guy myself, especially at the time, I think I was like 24. I was working with people sometimes older than me and I'm their manager, but it was just so cool. You're in a high leverage position to really impact people's lives because it directly correlates to their income and income directly correlates to everything around you being able to get better, right? And so it is the internal, the character, the growth, the development, all of that, and it's the external and it kind of scales together, which is so cool.
and 100%, yeah, it's integrated. It's so
Mhm.
beautiful.
Yeah, man.
Hmm.
Yeah. So cool. All right. So basically, if we were to put this in like a 10-second nutshell, your life has radically transformed over the last 11 months because you got into tech sales and yeah, life's good.
Life is good. Yeah, honestly, praise God. Yeah, praise God. Like His mercy and His grace
Mhm.
is awesome. The provision is beautiful.
Quick question there, and I'll only press as much as you're comfortable, but I was very keen on integrating faith in the workplace and with my team and in the culture, but doing it in a way that was not, up your nose kind of stuff. How have you navigated that, integrating your faith in the workplace?
Man, yeah, it's been awesome. Like I said, the team that I joined was one that was uh like mutually sharpening. So one of the guys, incredible. He's already been promoted to an account manager. He and I really walk closely together, and so I just reached out to him and suggested that like we do like a little bit of a one-on-one. Could be talking about faith, could be talking about life, could be talking about tech sales. And it's really just kind of like 30 minutes of sharpening. It seems like tech sales is pretty busy, so it wasn't as frequent as I would have liked. But that was a great avenue for that sharpening and genuine. Like he was a Christ follower.
Mhm.
And then, yeah, there was another guy on the team. I usually wear like these little bracelets or whatever. This is an FCA one, but there's one called I Am Second.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was like one of my first weeks. And one of the guys was like, "Hey, I noticed, you were wearing that." Like, and so again, it created an opportunity for a conversation, which was wild. So I
Mhm.
would say, yeah, I want to show up and yeah, strive to be excellent. And I think in doing that, people have been curious, or at least open to kind of like those deeper conversations.
Yeah.
Because yeah, I don't like to be kind of like shove it in your throat, but it's like
Yeah.
man, like, yeah, how can we be curious together? So, yeah.
I love that, man. And one of my recommendations for fellow believers is if you're going in the workplace and you want to use that as a ministry, which you should view that as ministry. You have to lead with your excellence first, because you have to gain respect. Like in the Gospels early on, it says that Jesus gained favor in both God and man, and so I think we forget that like Jesus gained favor with men, and in the excellence of our work, in how we are good teammates and how we make the team better, people respect us. They care about us. And now we have, to your point, those opportunities to talk about deeper things. So shout out to you, man, for just getting to work, for God honoring that work, because that gave you kind of the authority to then be like, hey, Bryce is kicking butt. Who's Bryce? I want to get to know him. And then now we get these cool opportunities.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. That verse I've never really heard talked about. What was it?
Early
Do you remember?
gospels,
Can you
it's
recall?
quickly. Yeah, Jesus. Here, let me just look it up real fast.
Yeah, let's
Jesus
go.
grew in wisdom and stature. Oh, and favor with God and men. This is Luke 2:52, and Jesus grew in wisdom and stature, and in favor with God and man. Luke 2:52.
So good. That's
Yeah.
so good. Nice. Thank you.
Yeah, man. Well, this is exactly what I was hoping for in this episode, just to kind of get a synopsis of your journey over the last 11 months, to celebrate you, to celebrate what God has done, and to get some wisdom, because the people listening, they're trying to make their way into tech sales. So, all in all, I guess I'd ask you, man, was it worth it?
1000% worth it. Yeah, couldn't have asked for anything better. So honestly, so appreciative of you, Jack. Yeah, as a coach, as somebody that provided a very clear system. It was just like nice plug in and trust the process. So yeah, thank you, man.
Yeah, I always go back to when you were first considering joining Sword. I think it was me and you on the call, and you were like, "Yeah, I think I have to talk to my wife about this before you're going to make the investment." And you called your wife, like right then and there,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
she was on board. She sounds like an awesome wife, and I always
Mhm.
think about if fear and uncertainty had paralyzed you guys, where do you think you'd be right now? It's October of 2025. Where would you be right now?
Dang, man. Ooh, in an entirely different place. Yeah, I mean, yeah, being a father, being a husband is such a crucial, part to play. And if, what I do 8 hours of the day isn't providing, then I think it directly impacts the well-being of my kids. So, yeah, don't make decisions out of fear, but to genuinely trust in the Lord. So,
Mm.
yeah, so glad that we took that leap because it was definitely like a leap, right? I was like, what's
Oh yeah.
tech sales? Who's Jack? Okay, let's do this.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah, it was so good. So yeah.
Awesome, man. I guess last thing for the listeners, any words of wisdom, any advice, any words of encouragement?
Mhm. Yeah, so you utilize that app Slack, right? Like that's kind of like the main channel or no?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't know. I guess I stopped using it like 10 months ago, but still have it on my phone and will kind of plug in every now and again. But it seems like the community that you have, built, that you've led, is a thriving community, which is beautiful. So, yeah, I've had people reach out that were like in conversation with you to say, hey, tell me kind of your experience with Jack. And I can speak very positively, but it's like, yeah, we're people. So yeah, share the wins, share the struggles. But yeah, I would just say lean on that Slack community. And then yeah, just trust the coach because he's good at what he does. So that's you.
Awesome, man. Awesome. Well, congrats on everything. Obviously, we'll get some personal time once I hit stop recording here. But I really appreciate you jumping on, man. And listen, for those of you that are listening, you're like, wow, Bryce's life just changed in 11 months. Linked below are a few resources for you that are going to help you get into tech sales. There's a free training guide that walks you step by step through how to interview, how to do all of that stuff. There's a link to meet with my team, just like Bryce did 11 months ago, to see if we can actually work one on one or not. I don't work with everyone. Bryce is a hard worker. He's a sharp dude, so decided to spend time with him and get him a job. And then there's a third link for the community. If you just need community, you don't like doing the job search alone, and you just want people around you to encourage you, lift you up, that's that third link there. You can jump in there for help.